life, I've been a performer, a musician, beloved and celebrated by all. But I have a secret. I'm also a playground for sprites and spirits and worse. The voice that rings inside me now is darker than any that came before. Almost caused a bunch of my fans to rip each other to pieces. But you can trust me. I've got this under control. Step 1. Find out who or what is trying to take control of my mind. Step 2. Make it sorry it ever tried. Human graves. Look out! I see a trap nearby.
Careful! I've spotted a trap.
I've spotted something.
You were kind and honest and devoted to your dog. But you came a-knocking here in search of work, and the dog took a fancy to the man of the house. Your own dog turned on you and tore you down. The boots are resplendent with polished ivory, heavy but well made, fit for a noble. The air around you glows with sudden heat. Specks of ash fall from the sky, summoning a fractured memory. Dig, work, deeper. By the Empress's order, you have to go deeper. As the memory fades, ghostly flames flicker on the surface of the polished sabatons.
I see you. You have the strength I've been looking for. Find where the archaeologist cut into the earth. I will draw strength from there to speak again.
The voice vanishes, but the bone-deep longing remains. You must dig in the east. You must. A terrible chill pervades the air as the ashen vision fades. Someone new is watching you. The chest before you is covered in old ancient empire pictograms. You consider trying to find some lockpicks in your bag, but looking at the chest, you don't see any keyhole. You hear a deep rumbling from inside the chest, and a voice emerges. It hisses and clicks, but doesn't make any sense. The chest's chatter gets louder and angrier. It refuses to open. The chest before you is covered in old ancient empire pictograms. You consider trying to find... You hear a deep rumbling from inside the chest, and a voice emerges. It hisses and clicks, but doesn't make any sense. The chest's chatter gets louder and angrier. It refuses to open. The chest before you is... You hear a deep rumbling from... You hear a quiet hissing chuckle from the chest as you hop about holding your foot. It's tougher than it looks.
Pure grace in an undeserving world. The spirit of the tree may have much to say.
The roots of a great ancestor tree reach from deep underground to the surface above and beyond. But this tree feels tainted. You are a scion of the elves. The mother tree demands your blood. You do not have a choice. She has a plan, and you must serve her with your death. You heed your mother's wishes and take root. But then you hear a voice, a friendly whisper from beyond. The voice knows you. He understands you. He loves you. He offers you your freedom and asks but one small service in return. Grateful, you accept. In an instant, you are an elf once more, walking in the world. But your new friend begins to make demands. Small services, then larger and more often. They cause you pain. At last, he bids you guard your tree. He expects you shall have guests. You shall kill the Godwoken when they come. Then you shall be free. The thought occurs. The sign replaced one bad deal with another.
Desperation leads to stupidity, among the stupid anyway.
Everyone's in charge of their own fate. Sounds to me like this incent has down the drain.
To trade one's soul for immortality and then lose out on your prize? That is unfortunate, no matter the circumstances.
The creature barely notices your presence. The familiar stone figure is a welcoming sight in the unwelcoming gloom. You are relieved of the past's nightmares and the future's burdens. All that matters is now.
This part is gated off from the rest. Whoever is buried here must have been important.
Here rests the elven hero Hala. He served Lucian the Divine with great vigor and defended the farmers who feed Reaper's Coast against pitiless bandits. The implements of his heroism shall rest at the site of his victory. Here rests the human hero Garrick. He served Lucian the Divine with immense skill and slew the necromancers who preyed upon the dead of Stone Garden Cemetery. The implements of his heroism shall rest at the site of his victory. Here rests the lizard hero Vidya. She served Lucian the Divine with great dignity and vanquished the strange beasts that arose from the primordial caverns of Reaper's Coast. The implements of her heroism shall rest at the site of her victory. Here rests the dwarven hero Bromley. She served Lucian the Divine with honor and cast out the demons that plagued the great woodlands. The implements of her heroism shall rest at the site of her victory. Suddenly, the earth churns and buckles upwards in several places. Some things are trying to rise to the surface.
Godwoken!
You must fall. The God King demands it.
You must fall, so that we may rise.
Let your blood quench our roots so we may grow.
The covenant shall be fulfilled.
In life, we are Earth's caretakers. In death, we are the skies.
The eagle glowers at you with one baleful eye, keeping the other eye firmly trained on the stringy morsels of rotting flesh dangling from its beak. Biting deep into the rotting flesh, your senses are assailed with a rank odor of meat long past its prime. Your memory wavers and becomes not your own, but the memory of one who led the most solitary of lives. You see myriad wings flapping, your hand scattering birdseed. You hear the screeching of eagles, the tearing of flesh. All of your life is centered on this place, this pedestal of death. All of your life is dedicated to feeding your eagles the meat of your dearly departed people. The dog growls and bares its teeth at you in a wide, unsettling grin. You swear you see a worm emerge from its grey-pink gums, then burrow back in. Slobber drips from the dog's bared fangs. Where the driblets land, the soil bubbles. The dog growls and bares its teeth at you in a wide, unsettling grin. You swear you see a worm emerge from its grey-pink gums, then burrow back in. Slobber drips from the dog's bared fangs. Where the driblets land, the soil bubbles. The dog raises its head to the stormy sky and howls. The earth beneath you vibrates, a dirge plucked on the strings of a rotting lute. The dog raises its head to the stormy sky and howls. The earth beneath you vibrates, a dirge plucked on the strings of a rotting lute. At first, you might think the figure is a simple stone statue, but it bears no chisel marks, no uneven surfaces, no signs of polishing. This is a petrification victim.
Nothing but bone dust. Even the petrified aren't immune to the ravages of time, it seems.
Well, isn't this rich? Cursed by a coffin and rescued by a random rube. The indignity.
She huffs in annoyance and rolls her eyes.
Oh, all this trouble, and for nothing. Never figured I'd need frost armor. Ouch! Ouch! You talk like I'm some cat burglar, slinking around and snatching jewels. But I'm in the market for something bigger.
She purses her lips and coyly tilts her head.
Oh, but do forgive me. I haven't offered you proper thanks.
She bows in insincere reverence. Her arm rests on her back, hand mere inches from her staff. She goes silent, momentarily willing to let you go free, then rises from her bow and grips you by the shoulder.
Oh, honey, anathema's out there, and I'm not keen on competition if you get my drift.
A jolt of cursed fire flares from her staff.
Especially me.
anathema.
Above, look at all these bones. Still stuck. There must be another one. I've spotted something. Oh, success! Oh, it's shut tight.
It's shut tight.
Rubbish.
The lizard hums tunelessly. Not a melody exactly, but more of a meandering moan.
10 spans under, humans slept. 10 spans up, the dwarves were kept. Lizards burned in lasting flame. Elven trees towards skies did aim.
She looks to your left with one eye and to your right with the other.
It helps me remember where the dead go. Sometimes they don't stay where I put them. That's okay.
She smiles at you with the innocence of a newborn. The hum still throbs in her throat.
Keeping watch, tending the graves.
She returns to her humming. She flinches as you move closer.
No touching.
Her humming fades. The eerie silence lasts for several seconds.
Ricca might get mad. He doesn't like it when someone touches his things.
She shivers and whispers.
Powerful sorcerer. Lives here, right in the garden. He can take the you from you. No brain, just body.
She points at her head.
The servants. They got nothing up there. Ricca has it all now. They need to be freed. Only way. Kill Ricca. The servants, so lost, chained by sorcerer Ricca, but they can still go home to the hall. Set them free.
The ensuing silence lasts for several seconds, until she picks up the melody once again and turns away. As you reach to push open the heavy door, the coils and whirls of engraved wood dance into a new pattern. The semblance of a face arises, a face that seems to look right through you.
A little sorcerer, come to play. You are a sorcerer, are you not? Perhaps even God-woken. Tell me true, now.
Silence greets your answer. In the distance, you hear the screech of an eagle. Worryingly closer, you hear some kind of a moan. Time passes. At last, the lips on the door creak open, and the door speaks.
Enter.
The face melts back into the wood of the door, and the whirls swirl back into a floral pattern. A loud metallic click can be heard from deep within.
Nice. I've always wanted to explore a haunted house.
The servant responds with a blank look and a low groan.
Sure is damp and dank here. Wait, don't those mean the same thing?
The turtle ambles in a slow circle.
Death prowls above. Ascend only if you seek it.
The masked creature is mute, save the occasional moan. You look up to the portrait, its subject's face staring right back at you, one eyebrow raised, as if lifted by a fishhook.
Contentious cur! Thou wouldst dare prance and gallivant about without a summons? Get thee gone, for at the count of a dozen less two, the sentries advance.
You come up empty. Perhaps there is nothing to find.
This is what Rivellon has become. It has a sanctuary for greedy poltroons seeking riches from noble patrons of the visual arts.
The painted man harumphs.
The spider spindles right up to you, her long, long legs tickling the sandy floor. A malevolent intelligence gleams forth from 8 beady eyes. She opens her mouth and hisses at you. Her fangs drool venom that sizzles on the sand. But there's no time to think about all that, because raising up on her hind legs, she pounces right at you. drinking ruby wine with Magister Boris in the armory after hours. You remember his deep hazel eyes, how he trembled as he kissed you. You remember all of it, the best night of your life. The cat and the dog appear to be arguing.
Oh. Oh.
Striking language. Smart writing is a forgotten art.
Such indecency. You strike a man in his own household? A short temper is an unfortunate weakness in a sorcerer. Even more so in a god-woken. I'm sure you agree. Don't be so naive. My doors only open on the occasion of truth. What you admit to them, you admit to me. I also see you are not yet whole.
He presses a slender forefinger against his tight lips and hums.
I'm not a generous man, but I could give you what you seek if you offer something in return. A completely fair exchange between sorcerers. Let's not be so secretive, my dear. You're dying to show off those smoldering talents of yours. You just don't know how to handle them. I can help you with that. I can share my bond with the source with you, fill your well to the brim, make you a master. The rest of the story, well, it's yours to write. You are cautious, an admirable quality. I too have difficulty with trust. However, my requirements are very simple. You go to the Black Pits, to a cavern there. In it, you'll find a stone tablet of considerable value.
He points to the location on your map.
Bring it to me. Oh, but heading to the Black Pits would mean tangling with more magisters, and they're such a nuisance. I like keeping my hands clean, you see. It's a miracle of the ancients. Priceless, really, and powerful enough to draw the magisters' attentions. I won't bore you with further detail. Suffice it to say, it is safer in my hands than in theirs.
Riker's lips stretch and his cheeks bulge, but you couldn't rightly call his unusual grimace a smile.
I'm a man of taste, as you no doubt see. A relic this significant would make an incredible addition to my collection. Don't deny an old elf his simple pleasures. Oh, how unfortunate. We could be so good for each other. Sadly, you've overstayed your welcome. Allow me to show you the door.